appreciate our guys, our effort. This crowd was awesome tonight again. Place was packed. Just came up a couple points short. Weather was a huge factor. I thought in the first half, and give them some credit, I thought they handled the weather better in the first half, scoring some points and all of that. Balls coming out on both sides, but I thought we regrouped at halftime, 22-10, and got the early score to get, the early touchdown, and then just kept on chipping away at it. Played our brand of football. We wanted to shrink this game. Time of possession was huge in our favor, the whole thing, and just they had two more points than us.
Is that Washington defense underrated? Because it seems like nobody talks about it, but
No, they're solid. They are. I mean, they got some good players over there. Their scheme is solid. I do think the elements helped the defensive side tonight. But no, those guys, that team just knows how to win. Obviously, this ain't a fluke for how many wins they've ripped off in a row. I give them a bunch of credit.
you've lost 3 games by a total of 8 points. I know there's still games left this year, but how do you feel like this season's going to be remembered?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say right now. Anytime you lose and it's close like this, there's always a play or two that you'd rather have back or could have made type thing. Again, I appreciate this group, this senior class. I mean, 20 some odd of those guys that got introduced. Some of those guys got here the same year I did and been through a lot and it completely changed this place. So really proud of this team.
We asked earlier if the weather was a factor. Did you think the weather was a factor in the passing game for both teams?
Oh, yeah, I think for both teams. I mean, I thought they made a couple of plays catching it. They dropped a few balls just like we did. The ball was on the ground for both sides. It was wet. I mean, it was definitely wet the first half. I thought it cleaned up a little bit in the second half.
The final fourth down play there, were DJ and Jack on the same play, on the same page on that play?
Yeah, Jack's kind of on the back side of the play. We were looking at the front side progression. That was not there. DJ tried to move his feet a little, buy some time. I mean, again, that's why I'm back to just not one play. And you look at third down, what we could have, I mean, we got half of it there. Second down, it always could have been, should have been.
This was one of the programs, right? The biggest games on paper in quite some time, maybe since you were a quarterback here. I'm just wondering, outcome notwithstanding, if you were able to take a moment at all tonight to just kind of take that in. I know it was raining a lot, but kind of look around the stadium a little bit.
I did think the atmosphere was awesome. These are the type of games we want to create, and obviously want to come out on the other end of it. But we do. We appreciate our crowd and the energy, and we wanted to play big games in November, and we came up 2 points short.
Coach, your offense struggled pretty mightily on third down this evening. How do you clean that up, and what kind of went wrong for them?
Yeah, especially in the first half, I thought that was not the number we wanted. You got to get into better down and distance, so third and medium to short. I thought we got in a couple longer ones that, especially with the elements in the first half, that was not going to be in our favor.
It looked like your plan, Jonathan, defensively against Penix was to just rush for not many blitzes, play it straight and see what he could do, and it seemed to be pretty effective.
That was, we pressured a few times on third down, but first and second down, we were kind of doing what we do, counting on the crowd to help us. We got a few false starts that way, and those guys needed to tackle well. Those guys made a few plays, UW, but no, especially in the second half, it was a really good plan.
Jonathan, can you obviously talk about the safety and just the impact of that play, and then obviously the impact of Gould's fumble, giving them a plus opportunity, and just the magnitude of those two plays given the final score.
Again, there's going to be a few plays in a tight game we can point to. Obviously, we're not trying to snap it over his head. I do think Josh Green did a job by making it only 2 points, not 7. Give some credit to the defense. I believe when we put the ball on the ground, we held them, and so that's how we want to be responding. And there's multiple plays in this game that could have separated 2 points.
Coach, I'm just wondering, what was the strategy on that final offensive drive? It seemed like you guys were doing a good job at milking the clock, but maybe milked it a little bit too much. What kind of happened?
Yeah, it's too much when you don't convert, and there's no question. But yeah, we would love the idea of finishing the game with that drive, and the way we moved it, we started with bad field position. Obviously, we want to just keep converting. We convert there, we're only a field goal. A field goal wins the game, so it's not our desperation. We had timeouts. We just didn't get it converted on fourth down.
You talked about this senior group, some of these players you've been with since the entirety that you've been here with this program. Was watching this senior group move on to the last time at Reese a little bit more emotional for you, just considering how long you've been with them?
Oh, I definitely appreciate them. You're so locked in this game, and then you're digesting, and now we got a short week. We got another game to play with these guys, but it was special. Watching these guys run out in Reese before the game. Some of these guys have been here so long, Levigood and Irish and McCartan, and I'm not going to keep going because there's a ton of them. They've been huge. for this place.
Jonathan, you, obviously, you play here, you're coaching here for a long time now. It's the final Pac-12 game here with the conference as we know it. How do you feel about all of that? And is it a moment of sadness? Have you thought about it?
I really haven't thought about it. I mean, 10 minutes from taking a loss, I mean, you're with your guys and staff real quick. And so I'm sure I'll get to a point of digesting all of that. I just haven't put a lot of thought into it.
Jonathan, if you could set the final score aside, would you say this is one of the better defensive performances you guys have had, given who you were playing?
Well, given who we were playing, yeah. And again, I'm not trying to downplay it. I do think the weather was a factor in this thing on both sides. We played good on defense. We tackled well, all of that. And again, that is a potent offense and a passing offense especially. And holding those guys to 22 points is huge.